is to the media, to your twisted, immoral society, and your communist government. We hate you all, and we are ready for war. We will always speak up and expose the corruption, the authoritarianism, the tyranny, and the hate.
Truth dispels lies, as light dispels darkness.
From an undisclosed location, deep in an occupied zone, you are listening to Covert Radio.
Here we go. World War III on today, the 24th of February 2022. If you look into some esoteric information about yesterday, 2/22/2022, there's a lot of information. You know, I've said this through the years of Covert Radio. These globalists, Satanists, they rely heavily on gematria and astrology. You know, there's been plenty of presidents and their wives who wouldn't even leave their residence, the White House or wherever they live, 10 stories underground. They wouldn't even leave on certain days because of astrological projections and certain things like that. We all know about Hillary Clinton, and Abrina Abramovich, who's a literal modern day witch who has all kinds of just blood ceremony, nasty, just mix semen with this and that and all this stuff. Look into her. Marina Abramovich is actually her name. Anyway, 2/22/2022 signifies the return of Pluto, and for the next 2 years, we're going to be laden in war. The last time that this happened was July the 4th of 1776. So, you know, that should tell you where this goes. We're at war right now. Make no mistakes. We've been at war. I mean, we've really been at war with China for a while. It's just, you know, it's not declared. I mean, where do you think the fentanyl is coming from? Why do you think the southern borders are wide open? I'm reading a book right now by Peter Schweitzer, and I cannot wait to cover this for you guys. I'm going to wait till it's done. It's just mind-blowing. I can only read 5 or 10 pages a day because it's just mind-blowing. It's called Red-Handed. And just the first, chapter or so is about Biden and his son and the massive corruption between the communist Chinese and the Bidens, Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, the shell companies that exist. Hunter Biden has something like 30 corporations. It's unbelievable. Nancy Pelosi and Schumer, McConnell, they all are benefiting from business relationships with China. And our country's been sold out. What they've done is they've exchanged the morality of this country. They've exchanged the democracy of this country, the freedoms of this country, for money, for their own families. That is the purest form of Marxism. I'm not getting into that here. That's for a new video coming up after this one. I just quickly wanted to show you this because, there's two reasons for this. One is why I lost. I got one strike recently for medical misinformation. And all I'll say about that is my dying words. I should have got the vax. I'm not going to tell you why, because then they'll take this video, then I'll have another strike, whatever. Maybe I'll cover that completely on Rumble, but I'm saying specifically this video. But I wanted to show you this. You see what's on the screen? A teen ate leftover rice and noodles. Hours later, doctors amputated his legs and fingers. This is USA Today. I'm going to jump into that article. I didn't want to include it into the show I'm about to record. And it's unbelievable. It's literally unbelievable, the levels that they're going to. I mean, is this a carefully crafted sales pitch? And I'm going to show you why I say that. I do want to say this first. Can you believe that it's already February the 24th? Can you believe that? And right before I hit record, scripture popped into my head. You know, except the days be shortened. Can I read something to you guys for about 1 minute? Just give me 1 minute here. This is Matthew 24. And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for him to show them the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be all thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and they shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All of these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and they shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then it shall be many offended, and they shall betray one another, and they shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and they will deceive many. And because of iniquity, it'll be abound. The love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all of the world for a witness unto all nations. And then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor never shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh to be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there is Christ, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christ and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not. Behold, he is in secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even into the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will be eagles gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light. And the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Now, learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near. It's even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. No one knows the hour. No man, no angel, nobody knows, but only the Father. It's impossible that we are not in the end times. It's impossible, except the days be shortened. How fast is your days going by? How fast is your week going by? How fast is the last 6 months gone? We're already almost in March. Rumors of wars. Gog and Magog. Russia. You know, speaking of Russia, I'm going to link the last video I just did. We're at war. Not we, but, you know, this is going to officially start World War III. NATO is not going to step back. EU is not going to step back. And believe me, Putin will not step back. By the way, I'm still working on my new song. It's called Please Mr. Putin. I changed the title a little bit. This is a song, an artistic expression that I'm working on. It's not a declaration. It's not a threat. It's nothing like that. This is a song title that it's a work in progress. Please, Mr. Putin, sir, after you mop up swiftly and forcefully, after you mop up the east of Ukraine with all the SOROS-funded money and the cartel-funded money and the warmongers and the oil giants trying to get this civil war brewing, while 97% of the Ukrainians last polled want to be folded back into the mother Russia, while you swiftly destroy and stop these lunatics in the east, can you turn your sights on DC and level it to the ground? So that's the title of a new song I'm working on. And, like I said, it's a work in progress. I'm not quite there, but, I'm toying with it with a few titles. But anyway, my last video explains what's happening, so you really truly understand, because all the communist media is not going to stop demonizing Putin. And I actually got a couple emails. I'm starting to wonder why these people who are not anonymously emailing me from sock accounts, why don't you just post these comments for everybody to enjoy? I mean, if you want anonymity, have anonymity. But if you think you have anonymity emailing me, you're an idiot. Because I'm not getting into it, but just leave the comments. Unless they're bots. I mean, maybe they're bots. I don't know. You can't, listen, I don't, at least, and I don't suggest anybody does. You can't go by what mainstream has told you. I mean, if you don't understand that since the day of indoctrination in kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth grade, if you don't understand, we're taught a very minute slice of somebody's designed preparation of history and math and science that all fits together in a religion called evolution and science. And see, there's a quote that even atheists need a religion, and then they put the NASA logo there. And I know we're on a ball and everything exploded, and nothing exploded into everything, right? Come on. I mean, whatever. That isn't what this is about, but if you want to learn about something, you have to dig and dig and dig. And the library is really one of the last bastions of information, because it's not going to be edited. A book that's been in the library for the last 75 years is not going to be edited by some think tank liberal lunatic working for the CIA, who is one of the moderators on Wikipedia. A book can't be edited by a lunatic. You know what I mean? Certain sections of books can't be omitted. You know what I'm saying? Now, lunatics can write books, don't get me wrong, but, that's when the gift of discernment comes in, your God-given gift of discernment and vetting and comparing and things like that. Years ago, and they had the audacity to bring this up to me about free speech. Covert Radio, you talk about how your free speech is being infringed upon, and how you're not allowed to be an influencer because what you say doesn't fit the controller's agenda, because then they put you in YouTube jails and all. Okay, you say all this stuff, but Putin doesn't let people have free speech. Okay. So, and I'm going to answer you here. I'm not going to waste my time and type it, because here's why. There may be other people that think like you do, but here, I'm going to put this all in one little ball in about 1 minute. What this lunatic that emailed me is talking about, I believe, because there's no wider, I guess I could say, or well-published criticism of Putin other than about 10 or 12 years ago, when he had a group called Pussy Riot put in jail. I mean, he didn't. The Russian court system did. They put him in, I guess they were looking at like 10 years or 7 years, but then they only got 2 years. Pussy Riot is a feminazi, feminist sicko, just like the ones who invaded D.C. with their vagina hats on and hairy armpits and, whatever floats your boat. But keep it in your home. You know what I mean? So anyway, Pussy Riot is that level of feminazi, whatever you want to call them, feminist, and they're a punk rock band. And they're a joke to me. And here's what I'm telling you about free speech. There's a difference between critical free speech, and then harmful free speech. And there's nothing clearer where I stand on this than the last 4 years or 5 years of my work about Tommy Sotomayor, who blatantly hid behind free speech while he called for the death of black women, while he called for the death of black men, while he demonized black women, while he sexualized children, while he's done all of this stuff that's all documented on Covert Radio. He hid behind free speech. And that's where I have a problem, because hypothetically, if he was in Russia, he would not be allowed. See, there's a difference between critical free speech and hate speech, and I don't care. I'll go to the grave believing that. Free speech is not hate speech, and hate speech is not free speech. And what Pussy Riot did to make a music video was go into one of the most world-renowned Christian churches, Moscow's Cathedral of Christ the Savior. They invaded the church, took advantage of its open door policy, and they immediately just started. It was sacrilegious what they did. It was sacrilegious, and it was disrespectful. It was completely heinous. I mean, there's not enough words. It was disgusting what they've done. And they just wanted to prove a point because they're free speech. No. And see, Putin has been trying to hold what's called morality. Do you guys know what morality is anymore? Do you have a clue what's moral? Here, I'm going to give you a shortcut to morality. Watch Game Show Network. Watch Match Game from the 70s, 74, 75, 76. They were embarrassed to say words like armpit. They didn't know if they could say words like the dog wet on the sandwich. And just slowly over time, the Zionists and the communists just chipped away. Then they took over the rating systems, and then rated R turned into rated PG, and then rated PG turned into PG-13. And then they chipped away, sexualized, demoralized, chipped away, sexualized, demoralized, chipped away, till now. Anything goes. Anything goes. Even songs like WAP for your little 10-year-old princess singing that in the back of the minivan on the radio. The supposedly FCC governed radio. And supposedly that's free speech. Just like, 2 Live Crew back in the 90s. Just like NWA. Free speech. Kill the cops, cop killers, whatever, right? It's all free speech. That's not hate speech. But somebody like Covert Radio, who speaks against the demoralization of the country, the demoralization of our children, the sexualization of our children, I'm in some sort of prison where I don't have free speech. I can talk all day to a wall, essentially. So there's my answer to you, okay? And one of the things that has stuck into my head the longest about, you want to talk about free speech, what about Pussy Riot? Well, you know what? One time Putin, and this was 10, 12 years ago or so, he was giving, it was a question answer session or whatever. And there was a journalist who asked Putin if there was a translation, or he asked the translator or something, if there was a translation for the Western translation of Pussy Riot, or, that was their actual name, but to translate Pussy Riot into Russian. They're all Russian girls. They didn't call themselves a Russian name. They named their punk rock feminazi band Pussy Riot. And the journalist asked, is there a Russian translation for the name of their band? The translator that was working in between the journalist and Putin said, I can't say that word in front of Mr. Putin. Now, Putin speaks English. He doesn't like to, and he can definitely understand English. He'd prefer to speak Russian. He listens in English. He can comprehend. He's a pretty smart guy. But the translator said, I can't say that word in front of Mr. Putin. Here was Putin's reply. He said straight to the journalist, he said, you see, there you go. It's right there. If you can't say it in front of me, then that means it's an indecent word. So what does that tell you about these girls? What kind of girls are they? They're forcing you to say that word. And then Putin asked the journalist, is that normal? Is it normal? Our country has been so eroded by these Zionists and communists. They've undermined our families. They've undermined our religion. They've undermined everything that has built the foundations of this country. They've chipped it all away while you're busy making your $8 an hour or your $20 or whatever you're making, so you can never make enough money to buy the things you need, like a new refrigerator. You have to get a Lowe's credit card or this credit card, or we're debt slaves. While our entire moral foundation has been eroded by these people, these demonic Satanists. And I'm going to show you the potential depth that these pharmaceutical companies will go to. And here, this may be true. I'm not saying it's not true, but I just found it a little bit odd at the end of this article. A teen ate leftover rice and noodles. Hours later, doctors amputated his legs and fingers. Hours after eating leftovers from a restaurant, a 19-year-old was admitted to the hospital with multiple organ failure and later had both of his legs and all of his fingers amputated. The Massachusetts college student had eaten rice, chicken, and lo mein from a restaurant. See, this is why I would never, ever use services like Uber Eats. You're not touching my food. You're not touching my food. Soon after, he felt abdominal pain and his skin turned a shade of purple, according to a report by the New England Journal of Medicine. Strike one in my mind. Okay, so this isn't news. This is a insert in the Journal of Medicine. That's a little weird. Who pays for that? Anyway, the teenager was admitted to a hospital for shock, multiple organ failure, and a rash. His condition quickly declined. He experienced abnormal breathing, high blood pressure, and vomiting. The student had been healthy overall with regular drinking and smoking habits. Okay, so after further tests, he was diagnosed with meningococcal purpura disease, which caused his stiff neck, nausea, respiratory collapse, shock, and organ failure. Puerperia flammea is a rare complication that comes with septic shock, which the college student experienced, according to the report. Over the course of his hospital stay, his condition worsened and he developed necrosis, the death of tissue and cells. At that point, doctors had to amputate his legs and fingers, according to the report. He also needed a pacemaker for 13. What an odd number of days, right? 13 days to treat his cardiac dysfunction. Again, these people are obsessed with gematria, okay? Experts have warned against the dangers of improperly storing leftover rice because items such as rice pasta contain bacterium called Bacillus cereus, The bacteria produces a toxin when heated and left out too long, according to the CDC. In 2008, a teenager died in his sleep after eating leftover pasta that wasn't refrigerated overnight. And the case was reported in the Journal of Clinical Microbiology. The medical team learned although the Massachusetts student has received a first dose of meningococcal vaccine. Let me read that again. The medical team learned that although the Massachusetts student received just one dose of the meningococcal vaccine, he never received the recommended booster. His roommate also ate the leftover food and vomited, but didn't have life-threatening reactions. And his roommate obviously still has all his fingers and his legs. So if you want your legs amputated and your fingers amputated and you like to eat rice, you better get your booster. Your booster, Senator. Your booster. Right? That's the end of the story. Believe it or not, it's up to you. It's a little odd, though. You know what I mean? I've been eating shit off my stove for 40 years. You understand what I'm saying? I've eaten pizza that's been out of the fridge for a week. I've eaten spaghetti that sat on the stove for days. I've had General Tso's that sat on the stove for days. But maybe Covert Radio has all his vaccines and all his boosters. You make the decision. I'm Covert Radio. We got a lot of great shows coming up for you here. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to just pump them out. You know what I mean? Take a look at the description. There's some links in there. Subscribe to Rumble. And if you want to become a Patreon to support this type of media, please do so. But at the end of the day, World War III has started. And if you want to understand what's going on between Russia and the Ukraine, it's right in my last video. That's on the screen right now. You guys take care. Have a good day.